Hello everyone! I am back with another video today. Sorry it's been a while since my last video. I started college again, and so I've been busy with that. But today I thought I'd give you guys a TV top 20. And in this video, I'd be counting down my top 20 episodes of the show Community. Community was one of those shows that I had always heard of, but had never really thought about watching. That is until I watched an episode at one of my friends' houses and I instantly was hooked. So for these past few months, I have been binge watching the show, and I decided to give you guys a top 20 episodes. Keep in mind, my list is not the right list, it's just my opinion, but I would love to know what y'all's opinions are. So let me know in the comments below what are some of your favorite episodes of Community, and what shows would you like to see me talk about, whether it's a ranking video, a top 20, review, etc. Without further ado, let's get started. At number 20 is going to be The Science of Illusion, Season 1, Episode 20. This is the one where Annie and Shirley become security guards. This episode is a parody of buddy cop movies, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time that a genre of movie is parodied in the series. This episode really fleshes out Shirley and Annie's friendship as shenanigans ensue as they try and solve a mystery. Plus, this episode features the first Troy and Abed in the morning. At number 19 is going to be Contemporary American Poultry, Season 1, Episode 21, literally the next episode. This episode is a Goodfellas parody. What this episode does well is it demonstrates the series' ability to split between parody and character development. Because while yes, there are lots of tributes to Goodfellas and gangster movies, this episode also fleshes out the friendship between Jeff and Abed, who have one of the better friendships in the series. Plus, you just gotta love a good 16 Candles reference. At number 18 is Basic Lupine Urology, Season 3, Episode 17. This episode is a parody of Law & Order. This is one of the better genre episodes just because of how hard it commits to its genre. There's a new intro, a new shooting style, a new color palette, new transitions, new sound effects. Something that Season 3 did better than Seasons 1 and 2 in my opinion is really commit to the things it's parodying. This episode has fantastic production design, a great new alternate intro and theme song, and it also gives lots of the recurring characters like Starburns, Magnitude, Garrett, Fat Neil, gives lots of them their own time to shine. At number 17 is Horror Fiction in 7 Spooky Steps, Season 3, Episode 5. This episode is a parody of varying types of horror movies, slasher movies, supernatural movies, haunted house movies, psychological thrillers, etc. What's great about this episode is that it really shows how each member of the group views themselves and what role they play within the group. Annie believes that she can make Jeff a better person, but underneath she's as bad as he is. Pierce wants to be seen as kind of this Humphrey Bogart-esque, youthful, very manly man. Shirley is a bit judgmental of her friends, but does genuinely care about them. Overall, this is a really good episode, and it really helps define the ensemble as a whole. At number 16 is going to be Documentary Filmmaking Redux, Season 3, Episode 8. This is one of the very few Dean-centric episodes in the show. It takes influence from Hearts of Darkness to examine the Dean's own insecurities about his life, but also shows how proud he is of the school. It has no shortage of very funny gags, including a hilarious appearance by Luis Guzman, but in classic Community fashion also has a very wholesome ending. At number 15 is going to be Emotional Consequences of Broadcast Television, Season 6, Episode 12. A great series finale. It hits all of the emotional notes correctly. It manages to honor all of the characters in the series in some way or another. It has a lot of fun inside jokes, including some jabs at Season 4, and constantly makes fun of itself. The only issue I have with it is that I wish Troy came back and that Shirley had more screen time, but what are you gonna do? Overall, it's still a great series finale. Number 14 is G.I. Jeff, Season 5, Episode 11. This is one of the better genre episodes, as well as being one of the better episodes from Season 5, which I feel is an underrated season. It pokes fun at Saturday morning cartoons and toy commercials, while also giving Jeff a lot of character development. I also love how this episode depicts all of the characters in cartoon form, whether it's Shirley being named 3 kids or Abed being Native American. It is one of, if not the best episode of the last 3 seasons. At number 13 is going to be Geothermal Escapism, Season 5, Episode 5. Another really good episode from Season 5. In this episode, Abed comes up with an elaborate The Floor is Lava game to stop Troy from leaving. Because this is Community, the school descends into a Mad Max-style apocalypse. Once again, the production design, costume design, and cinematography is outstanding. They really commit to the genre aspects of this episode. Plus, it examines the friendship between Troy and Abed, who have probably the best friendship in any sitcom ever. The ending of this episode is one of the best emotional scenes in the entire series, because it shows how deeply Troy and Abed understand each other and how much everyone in the group really loves Troy. At number 12 is going to be Epidemiology, Season 2, Episode 6. This episode is the zombie episode, and this is one of the earliest genre episodes also. It has a really good emotional core with Troy and Abed, and really helps solidify Troy's character arc. This is when we really get to see the series take advantage of different production styles and different styles of lightings and stuff like that. It makes it feel like a big budget horror movie even though it's an episode of a half-hour sitcom. At number 11 is going to be Virtual Systems Analysis, Season 3, Episode 16. This episode is about Abed and Annie in the Dreamatorium. This is an episode that I have a weird relationship with because I'm kind of iffy on the concept of it, but I really love the execution. It's probably the weirdest and just most ambitious episode of the show, and that's saying something. It really helps define the dynamic between Abed and Annie, who have one of the better friendships in the series. In the end, both of their character arcs wrap up nicely, and they both learn from each other. At number 10 is going to be For a Few Paintballs More, Season 2, Episode 24. This episode is a parody of Star Wars and is the second part of the Season 2 finale. It continues with the strong production design of the first half while also adding a bit of heart. This episode shows how, even though the campus is supposed to be a place for burnouts and people who have hit rock bottom, they can really come together against the odds when they need to. Plus, it gives Pierce a fun redemption arc after having him not really be all that likable throughout most of the season. At number 9 is going to be Digital Estate Planning, which is Season 3, Episode 20. This episode is a parody of video games. What I love about this episode is that it really helps define Pierce's role in the group and gives him a lot of character development. I love the animation style for this episode as well as Abed's crazy side story. Plus, we get a fun guest appearance from Gus Fring himself, Giancarlo Esposito. And the end tag of this episode is one of the best in the entire series and probably my favorite running joke in the entire show. At number 8 is going to be Introduction to Film, Season 1, Episode 3. This is the episode where Britta argues with Abed's dad over what's best for Abed's future. This is the first episode where we really get the layers peeled back on Abed as a character. This episode explains his passion for film and also makes him feel more well-rounded. Plus, there's a pretty hilarious side story about Troy sneezing like a girl. At number 7 is going to be Paradigms of Human Memory, Season 2, Episode 21. This episode is supposed to be a parody of clip show episodes from sitcoms, but instead of having clips from previous episodes, they have original clips. What I love about this episode is that it really examines the dynamics in the group. It says a lot about friend groups in real life and how overcoming problems can make your friendship stronger. Plus, it's got some pretty iconic moments like Chang in an event, popping a boat, 6 seasons in a movie. At number 6 is going to be Mixology Certification, Season 2, Episode 10. This episode is Troy's 21st birthday. This is one of the better non-genre episodes of the show. It really shows how the series can tie multiple different plot lines and character arcs together, even though they only have a runtime of 22 minutes. This episode really helps cement Troy's character arc of becoming an adult. He has one of, if not the best character arcs in the series. Really what this episode is about realizing that adults don't necessarily know more than you and aren't necessarily smarter than you. Most adults are just as clueless as you are, and it's about accepting that and learning to roll with it.
Plus, it features the best use of Ludwig Göransson's Greendale is Where I Belong in the entire series.
Which is cool.
At number 5 is going to be Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas, Season 2, Episode 11. This is a great high-concept episode. It's the only episode of the series to win an Emmy. It really dives into Abed as a character and shows how vulnerable he is. It's probably one of, if not the most thematically rich episodes of Community. It explores how everyone reacts to the holiday season. It's an episode that really demonstrates how close the group is to one another and how, when your family turns their back on you, friends will always be there. At number 4 is going to be A Fistful of Paintball, Season 2, Episode 23. This is debatably the best genre episode of the show. This episode might be the episode that commits the hardest to the thing that it's parodying. The color palette, costume design, score, all of it reflects the Western tone. It manages to balance a really high joke per minute ratio with some genuine character drama, with some surprisingly well shot action, and of course, some heart because it's Community. At number 3 is going to be the first Chang Dynasty, Season 3, Episode 21. This episode is a parody of heist movies where they have to rescue the Dean from Chang. Season 3 probably has my favorite multi-episode arc of the entire series, and this was a great climax to it. I'm actually one of those community fans that didn't really like villain Pierce and really prefers villain Chang. Ken Jeong just has this really manic, unhinged energy about him, and he really gets to show that off in this episode. He provides a great foil for the study group. Every character gets a moment to shine, whether it be Troy's sacrifice, Abed's Italian plumber impression, or even Jeff being ready to duel Chang Duel of the Fates style. Overall, it's one of the best episodes. These top 2 episodes are really hard for me to pick from because, let's just be honest, they're probably everyone's 2 favorite episodes. And honestly, I don't really like one significantly more than the other. I just chose this order based on how I was feeling that particular day. At number 2 is going to be Remedial Chaos Theory, Season 3, Episode 4. This is the multiple timelines episode. I know it's cliche to praise this episode, but this is one of the best sitcom episodes ever. It's the only episode of the series to get nominated for a writing Emmy. We get to see what role every member of the group plays and what the dynamic looks like when they're removed. This episode has one of the best joke per minute ratios I've ever seen. There's so many iconic moments like the emergence of the darkest timeline, but there's also a lot of hilarious moments that go unsung, like when Troy eats the cigarette. Overall, this could easily be number 1 any other day of the week, but for this particular video, I decided to put Modern Warfare Season 1, Episode 23 at number 1. This was the first paintball episode of the series, and it really proved what the series could do. It showed that the series could be very ambitious and completely unrealistic, but also be full of heart and tie all of those things together at the same time. Captain Midnight made a really great video essay explaining why this episode worked so well and how it changed perception of the series as a whole. Overall, as a fan of action movies, I really loved how this episode managed to parody action movies while also pay homage to action movies and have a solid emotional core all at the same time. So yeah, that's it. That's my list. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are y'all's favorite episodes of Community? Let me know in the comments below. Also, what would you like to see videos on? Are there any other TV shows you'd like to see me either do a season ranking of, or top 10, top 20 episodes, or just a straightforward review? As always, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be back to regularly posting videos pretty soon. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button, check out my channel. I do videos about movies, TV shows, comic books, everything. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.